And rainfall will be there as there is yagya. So this is important. In the fourth canto, you read the story of King Vena. King Vena was a godless king, very proud and arrogant. He stopped all the brahmanas from doing any worship because he felt that he should be worshipped, not the Lord. And all types of sacrifices stopped in his kingdom. As a result, Mother Nature went on strike. Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Sa Sacham. This material nature is working under whose direction? Whose direction? Under the direction of the Lord. And if you don't do yagya, material nature doesn't cooperate. So King Vena, he stopped all the sacrifices. As a result, material nature stopped providing the necessities of life. There was no rain, the rivers became dry, the oceans became dry, and then the citizens could see, and the brahmanas could see, now the people will suffer because material nature is not supplying the necessities. In the end, they had to curse him. So, because material nature was not providing mankind's needs, then his son Prithu became the king. And the first thing that Prithu did, instructed citizens on the principles of God consciousness. So when the rulers are God conscious, mankind is happy and the necessities of life are provided. And if the rulers are demoniac, then what happens? Material nature goes on strike. It withholds the necessities of life. So this principle must be understood. So here we see King Gaya, he protected the citizens and he made sure that there was enough food grains available for the citizens. And this is called Poshana. Then he will even give gifts to the citizens. नागरिकों को present भी देते थे. He used to give gifts. Can you imagine the head of state calling all the citizens and saying, "Come on, what gift do you want?" But King Gaya, he would sometimes distribute gifts to the citizens to keep them happy. During Lord Ram's rule, citizens were so happy that they could even choose a moment of death. They could choose. So he was very kind to the citizens. Then he would call meetings and to satisfy the citizens with sweet words. So he would satisfy the citizens, speak to them very politely. And King Gaya, he was a householder. He was in the Grihastha ashram. Brahmacharya Grihastha Vanaprastha Sannyas. But he lived in the Grihastha ashram according to religious principles. The Grihastha ashram is an ashram when we follow spiritual guidelines. And if we don't follow spiritual guidelines, then it becomes, what does it become? Grihamedi. So King Gaya was an ideal king. He cared for the citizens like a father cares for the children. He gave them full protection. He gave them gifts. Can you imagine? He gave them gifts. And he would call them and speak to them with sweet words. The Bhagavad Gita says that one of the austerities of the tongue is to speak the truth, but speak it sweetly. You can speak harshly and antagonize people, or speak softly, sweetly and win over the people. So King Gaya was meeting the citizens and talking very sweetly. And he would instruct them how to become first-class citizens. The king was instructing them how they should become perfect citizens. Just like when King Prithu became the king, the citizens were so sad and suffering so much that the king said, first thing you should do is glorify the Supreme Lord, even though he was an incarnation himself. So King Gaya told the citizens how you can become first-class citizen. That was his responsibility. And he was a householder who observed the rules and regulations of household life. So the Grihastha situation can be either in ashram or Grihamedi. When we follow the laws of God, then it's called Grihastha. You can progress spiritually. In the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, there is a very detailed dialogue between King Yudhishthira and Narada Muni. When Narada Muni asked a lot of questions, one of the questions Yudhishthira, one of the things that Yudhishthira asked was, he said, how can we, who are in the house of Grihastha ashram, attain perfection based on Vedic principles? And what did Narada Muni say? First he said, you have to earn your livelihood. Naturally, so that if he has a family, he has to earn his livelihood. And then stay in the association of devotees and chant. And by being with devotees, you get guidance. So in the scriptures, we have information on virtually every topic. So King Gaya, he guided his citizens how to lead a household life and how to perform sacrifices and devotion to the Lord. Krishna says, 3 things cannot be given up, even if you are self-realized. What are the 3? Yajna, Dana, Tapasya. Yajna means the process of self-realization. And this process varies from age to age. In Satyuga, for example, the process was deep meditation on the Lord. Next came Treta Yuga. The process was elaborate sacrifices in which pure ingredients were needed. And the Brahmanas could chant mantras. The Brahmanas could ignite fire just by chanting mantras. They didn't need any cigarette lighters or matchboxes. And Dwapara Yuga, the yajna process was gifts, elaborate gifts to the Lord. In Kali Yuga, the process is chanting the holy name. So in every age, there's a different prescribed process. Just like, it's not that if you're sick, one medicine will cure all the diseases. Different medicines have different diseases have different medicines. So similarly, in every age, there's a different process of self-realization. So Maharaj Gaya was a pure devotee of the Lord, and he was called Mahapurusha because he sincerely followed the instructions of the Lord. And he executed all the duties. And as a devotee, he was always ready to give respect to other devotees and to engage in devotional service with the Lord. So, devotee means servant of everyone. Give respect to everyone. Not that we demand respect. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains this very nicely in the 3rd verse of the Sikshashaka. What is that? If you want to be in a position that you chant the holy names of the Lord, then You have to endeavor to become more humble than a blade of grass. The grass is so humble. We all walk on the grass, step on the grass doesn't retaliate. And more tolerant than the tree. The tree is tolerant. Winter, summer, any part of the year, the tree is there to give protection. Like right now it's a cold breeze. It's very cold. So we're all warmed up. Jackets and this and that. But the trees are lying and standing straight without any other protection. So King Gaya, he taught the devotees, he taught the citizens how to get respect to other Vaishnavas, to other devotees. So this is the mood of humility that we should have. Offer respect to others. Often we say, I'll offer respect to others if they offer respect to me. Lord Chaitanya said, Amanina mana dena. Offer respect to others, even if they don't respect you. Even if somebody insults you, be gentle and kind. So King Gaya exhibited all the qualities of the devotee or Brahmana. He exhibited all these transcendental qualities. So in society, we should have a government that is God conscious. In society, the citizens should have character. But what do we see in today's world? Today's world we see our leaders are gradually getting degraded, isn't it? You know, when you go to when it's election time, does anyone campaign on spiritual principles? Does anyone say, I'll give you a God-conscious environment? No, that's not even an issue. The only issue is how much economic prosperity do you promise? So people do not know what is absolutely necessary. So Maharaj Gaya, he was an idle king, Rajrishi. He, by his government, showed how a head of state should be concerned about. In the Bhagavatam we read so many examples on this point. You read this wonderful story of Maharajanta Deva. Maharajanta Deva was a very God-conscious king, very magnanimous, very merciful, very compassionate. Once he had fasted for 48 days, and he was about to break his fast when a hungry Brahmana came to his palace and said, My dear king, it's your duty to provide us the necessities of life. Give me something to eat. So he had some food stuff made of milk and water. He parted with everything. In the end, he was left just with a little bit of water. And hungry, thirsty, Chandala came to his kingdom and said, Please give me some water, I'm thirsty. And he gave. And then he offered a beautiful prayer to the Lord. He said, Nakamai ham gadame ishwaradvaram. I don't want anything for myself. I just want that you will take everyone back to Godhead and let me suffer the reaction due to others. In other words, as a king, he was concerned about the welfare of the citizens. He said, For me, I don't want anything. I want to see others happy. So that is a desire of an advanced devotee. And the head of state or the leader must have transcendental qualities. In today's society, which is basically a society of cheaters and cheated, people are ready to cheat and people are ready to be cheated. There's no question of any character. There's no question of leaders having standards. Nobody even cares for it. Just like in America, you have a president who has a history of wives and whatnot, but he got elected. So in today's environment, spiritual character is not even a factor. But that's why there is so much unrest in society. There's so much unhappiness. There's so much distress because spirituality is absent. And the ideal king or head of state must be concerned about the citizens. But he can only be concerned if he has knowledge himself. By and large, the leaders are not educated in spirituality. And because they are not trained in spirituality, they don't know the importance. Pradhan Maharaj says spiritual life should be cultivated from what age? Kamara Ashar Pragya, from the age of 5. From the age of 5, we should train the children up in spiritual philosophy. These days, we see the importance of computers. So parents teach their children computers from the age of 3 because they know its importance. So without spiritual life, everything is a failure. Shama evi kevalam. So King Gaya, he was an idle king, and he protected the citizens. Wow, by giving them spiritual knowledge. He gave the citizens spiritual knowledge. And he performed austerities himself. He performed austerities. We have, for example, the story of King Rishabdev in the 5th canto. King Rishabdev also was an incarnation and an ideal king. He ruled over the citizens like a father rules over takes care of his children. So why do people talk about Ram Raja? They talk about Ram Raja even today because that was a period associated with complete happiness. No old age, can you imagine? No old age. All the beauty salons were closed. No old age. No disease. Death also as per your wish. And there was no scarcity of anything. We talk about economic progress. But the economic progress, the standard that was there in previous ages was far ahead of what we see in society today. So, and King Gaya was an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. And he was called a Mahapurusha. So you call him Mahapurush because he was an ideal king. So the leader's responsibility is to give people spiritual education. And if you don't do that, then you become liable for what? Punishment. It's not that you manipulate and get elected to a position of responsibility and you have no reaction. If a person takes on any position, not just an elected position, and doesn't live according to the principles, then he becomes liable for punishment. Therefore, even as devotees, we have to be ideal example. We have to practice what we preach, and that will have a profound effect. So, King Gaya cared for the citizens, and he also extracted taxes. Now, in the Vedic days, they bore taxes, kar. The citizens would have to pay taxes. But they willingly paid the taxes because the government was so lovable, because they could see the government is caring for them. So they would gladly go and give taxes. And today what happens? We just think how we can avoid the taxes. Is that right? You have consultants in the field. On the one hand, the government makes laws. Then on the other hand, it prepares people in education who can teach you how to break the laws. Isn't it? They make these laws. Then they have courses on taxation where you study how to break the law. You have, in the Western world, they have these speed limits. They have, you can't go beyond a certain speed. But then they have instruments on the way, which can tell you how to speed and still not get caught. That's why now they have these devices which tells you there's a police car 20 miles ahead. So what they do, they go at full speed, but when they came near the sign, they slow down. And then again they speed up. So this is the world of the cheaters and the cheated. People are ready to cheat and ready to teach you how to cheat. So this is an ideal form of government. And this is called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means a process of devotional service, where you engage the body, mind, and words in service of the Lord. Then it also says, he did not experience any material ambition. He didn't suffer from material lamentation. In the material world, two features are common: hankering and lamenting. We hanker for what? We hanker for what we do not possess. And what do we lament for? We lament for what we have lost. But King Gaya, he did not experience any lamentation. So in material life, everyone is hankering and lamenting. I'm hankering for what I don't possess, and I lament for what I have lost. And due to this hankering and lamenting, people suffer from depression. How do people get depression? They get depression because the lamentation is so severe. Oh, I lost this, I lost this, I lost this. And I'm hankering, I want this, I want this, I want this. And when you can't get it, then what happens? State of shock, mental depression, tension, etc. But from a spiritual angle, lamenting and hankering is of different nature. We also hanker and lament, but from a spiritual angle. What does it mean from a spiritual angle? Our hankering is, I want to become Krishna conscious. I want to become a good devotee. I want to make spiritual advancement. I want to make sure everyone else becomes happy by taking to Krishna consciousness. That is our hankering. And what is our lamentation? What's a devotee's lamentation? What's our lamentation? Our lamentation of the Lord. Now, every second in is our lamentation. So material world, hang pocket around it, and you get into depression. So in the material world, everyone is hankering and factors in material life. But a spiritualist, even in an adverse condition, you are happy. That is the nature of spiritual life. Materialists often wonder, oh, these people are smiling and dancing, and we get drunk and still we don't feel happy. I think I told you this story once before. A few years ago, I was in a hall. We were having our spiritual program. And next to our hall, there were two halls next to each other. And one was rented by us, and one was rented by some material family. So where they were serving liquor, ballroom dance, etc. So the sound from our hall was penetrating into their hall, and their band was penetrating into our hall. So they came in to see us. What are these people are dancing? What's making them dance? and they saw they were chanting and dancing. So one of them said, "We are getting drunk. We hold woman's hand, and then too we don't smile like this. And you all are not drinking, not holding any woman's hand, and you all are smiling." So there's a spiritual happiness. So one who is transcendently situated, he's always happy. He's always content. So King Gaya, he was always jubilant. So a devotee should learn that if he is engaged on the spiritual path, there will be natural happiness. Cheta dharmarjanam bhava magdvagni nirvapanam. We chant the holy name. Why? It cleanses the heart. But besides cleansing the heart, it gives us something else also. What's that? Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam. This sharing of the holy name gives you unending spiritual happiness. Is that right? Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam. One of the gains of chanting the holy name is it gives you unending spiritual happiness. So if you wanted happiness, take to the spiritual path of happiness. Like Prahlad Maharaj says, people do not know how real happiness will be found. So if you want real happiness, what is the process? Bhakti yoga. That's the purpose. And if you want some fake imitation process, then you take the materialistic path. So the king was always jubilant. Here it is being described as King Gaya. He did not suffer from any type of lamentation. And further, he was always, what? Jubilant. He was always happy. He was always content. So if you want real happiness, don't get allured by the advertising or material propaganda. Take to the path of Krishna consciousness. As we just said, in the 18th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, three things should not be given up. Yajna, dana, and tapasya. So tapasya. Tapasya means spiritual austerity. When we use the word tapasya, it refers to spiritual austerity. And spiritual austerity means I abstain from what is detrimental and I accept what is favorable. So, austerity is a key instrument on the spiritual path. Doesn't matter which ashram you belong to, without austerity, you can't have a spiritual life. Tapaseva param jyoti bhagavatam adokshajam. The Lord is adokshaja. Very difficult to understand, but by the process of bhakti yoga, you can understand the Lord by practicing austerity. But what does austerity do for us? By and large, nobody wants to practice real austerity. Even sometimes after people come to Krishna consciousness, we see that they're scared of austerity. So what does Rishabdev Lord say? He says in his famous verse, I am there, bhajam loke, tapo devya putraka. If you perform austerities for the pleasure of the Lord, you will experience unending spiritual happiness. If you practice spirituality, you'll get some gain. You'll get unending spiritual happiness. So we should be convinced about this point. The problem is, when you come to Krishna consciousness, we are convinced but not fully convinced. So in order to remain fully convinced, the guideline is that we should stay in devotee association. We should regularly read these books because they remind us of the importance of spiritual life. So King Gaya, he was free of any lamentation and he was always jubilant. And he offered respects to everyone. You hear the king, but he's offering respects to everyone. Normally we expect everyone will offer respects to the king. But he was such a magnanimous king, he would offer respects to everybody. He was not proud. He was not proud. Wealth often makes a person proud, am I right? Beauty also makes a person proud, yeah? You have material education, it also makes you proud. And if you're materially rich, you become proud. But King Gaya, he was a king, but he was not proud at all. He considered himself to be a servant of the servant. So to be a servant of the servant is more privileged than to be a master. In material life, we all want to be the number one man. Am I right? Number one, everyone should salute me. Everyone should follow me. Everyone should do according to my desire. What does false ego mean? How does false ego act? False ego makes you believe what you're thinking is right. Nobody else knows anything. You're the only brilliant boy in society. Everyone else is a fool. And so false ego makes you artificially proud. And you think, oh, other people also have intelligence. I'm not the only intelligent person around. And you're ready to listen. Humility doesn't mean just speak soft words smilingly. Humility means, I am ready to be corrected. I'm ready to be directed. I'm ready to be guided. And especially in spiritual life, we should be endeavoring all the time. How can I make spiritual advancement? And that is humility. If you are in a position where you don't want guidance, you don't want any correction, then that's not humility. You may speak softly, offer 1,000 dandavats to others, but what is needed is humility of the heart. What does humility of the heart means? I realize internally, I am fool number one. I need guidance. Lord Chaitanya, when he was questioned by Prakashananda Saraswati, you're such a prominent Sanskrit scholar. Why didn't you sit down with us and study the Vedanta? What is this chanting like a madman doing? What did the Lord say? My spiritual master considered me to be a fool. So he said, just chant the Om. So that is humility. I think I'm a fool, I need guidance. And if we all practice humility, there will be complete harmony in society, complete harmony in a temple. One reason why we don't experience the happiness, the peaceful atmosphere, is because of everyone's ego. Our ego is so strong that our behavior results in conflicts. So King Gaya, he was perfect in all respects. He was not proud, and nor was he anxious to rule the kingdom. In other words, he was serving as needed. He did not want to rule over the kingdom, but because this duty was entrusted, he was doing it in a detached mood. That is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Work in the mood of detachment. And Krishna gives a very nice example in the Bhagavad Gita. He says that a lotus leaf is in water, but doesn't touch the water, isn't it? Lotus leaf is in water, but does it touch the water? No. In the West, people don't understand this example because they don't see lotus leaves. The lotus leaves are grown only in tropical countries. So the lotus leaf is in water, but it doesn't touch the water. So you work in the spirit of detachment. So King Gaya gives an ideal example of how a ruler should behave. And the good qualities that he exhibited can be practiced by anyone. You don't have to be a king. It can be practiced by anyone to make spiritual advancement. Be respectful to everyone. Speak to everyone sweetly. Bhagavad Gita also says that. and be respectful to everyone. But that is only possible if we take the position that I need guidance, I need correction. So, King practiced Bhakti Yoga, and through the pages of the Bhagavatam, we are constantly getting enlightened on the process of Bhakti Yoga. So when we read the Bhagavatam, we can see on the one hand the ideal standard that should be there, and we should all be endeavoring to cultivate all these qualities. The information in the Bhagavatam is not mythology. It is not fiction. It is not imagination. But these are true stories that took place in history. And in the Bhagavatam, we have this perfect knowledge, ripened fruit of knowledge. Vyasadeva had compiled the vast Vedic literature, summarized it in the Vedanta. He was still feeling despondent. There's something lacking in my contribution. And as he was lamenting, Narada Muni appeared and told him, exclusively present the path of pure Bhakti Yoga. So, these are the qualities that a leader should have. And these qualities of King Gaya, these qualities can be developed by others also. If we want to become good devotees, cultivate these qualities. And the Rajrishis were always acting like rishis, as devotees of the Lord. In the Bhagavatam, you read a story of another saintly king called Maharaj Siddhi. He was a very compassionate king. Anyone who came to him would get protection. So one day, the demigods wanted to test him. So one of them became an eagle, and the other one was pigeon. The pigeon came rushing into the king's window. Said, "King, protect me. That eagle is trying to eat me. Please protect me." So the king said, "Okay, you've come to me for protection. It's my duty to protect you." A little later, the eagle came. And the eagle said, "Did any pigeon come through here?" And the king said, "Yes. That pigeon has come to me for protection. And I must protect the pigeon." But the eagle said, "No, that pigeon was going to be on my lunch table today." Okay. I can't let that pigeon remain with you. I have to take that pigeon with me. The king said, "No, the pigeon has come to me for protection." So they made a deal. The king said, "Okay, you can take flesh from my body equal to the weight of the pigeon." And by the transcendental arrangement of the Lord, because they were demigods testing how magnanimous and compassionate this king is, the weight of the pigeon went on increasing, and the king did not go back on his word. He went on giving flesh from his body equal to the weight of the pigeon. And the demigods ultimately were so pleased that they revealed their true identity and restored the skin that was cut. So the point is, this is what you mean we expect from leadership. One who has his leadership position, he has to sacrifice his comforts for the comfort of others. King Sibi, he sacrificed his comfort just to protect a pigeon. So this should be the quality of leadership. But do we see that in the planet today? You see that any day? No, you don't see. Nobody is interested. Not only is nobody interested in displaying them, nobody is interested in asking them. People today are so blind. So the Bhagavatam is explaining that the ideal king should have transcendental quality. There are so many examples. King Yudhishthira, King Parikshit, when he saw Kali entering, how he acted. And Amrish Maharaj, you know his famous story. So these were all saintly kings. And if you want peace in society, we should be friendly. We should follow their example. So Vaishnava's desire is what? To make people happy. But he knows that if I want to be happy, I have to engage in devotional service. So we have this process of preaching, isn't it? Why do we preach? हम प्रचार क्यों करते हैं? धन कमाने के लिए नहीं, हम प्रचार में इसलिए जाते हैं कि हमारे आचार्यों की इच्छा थी कि हम प्रचार करें। और क्यों? लोगों को ये दिव्य ज्ञान प्रदान करने के लिए। तो ये जो बुक मैराथन चल रहा है, आप सब जुड़े हो इसमें? आप में से कितने भक्त बुक मैराथन कर रहे हो? परा दुखा दुखी, जो वैसा है दूसरों को दुखी देखकर वो भी दुखी हो जाता है। वासुदेव विप्र महाप्रभु को मिलने गए थे। वासुदेव विप्र को बड़ी गहरी बीमारी थी, उनका पूरा शरीर कीड़ों के साथ भरा हुआ था और वो इतने दयालु थे कि जब कोई कीड़ा उनके शरीर से नीचे गिरता था उसको पकड़कर वापस जोड़ देते थे शरीर के साथ। तो वो गए कुर्मा ब्राह्मण के घर महाप्रभु को मिलने। तो वहाँ पहुँचने पर उन्हें पता लगा महाप्रभु चल पड़े हैं। तो महाप्रभु भी तो अंतर्यामी हैं, वो समझ गए वहाँ से विप्र आया है मुझे मिलने और अत्यंत दुखी है क्योंकि मैं वहाँ नहीं हूँ। महाप्रभु लौटे और उन्हें क्या किया? गले लगाया। गले लगाने पर विदुर विप्र वासुदेव विप्र तुरंत ही उनका देह एकदम खूबसूरत युवक जैसे हो गया। जो पस थी, कीड़े थे, सब चले गए और पहले उनके शरीर से बदबू आती रहती थी, अब एकदम खुशबू आने लगी। तो वो डर गए। उन्होंने सोचा शायद मैं घमंडी नहीं बन जाऊं, क्योंकि अक्सर जो धनी व्यक्ति है, खूबसूरत व्यक्ति है, घमंडी भी बन जाता है। मैं घमंडी नहीं बन जाऊं। तो उन्होंने महाप्रभु से पूछा, अब आपकी कृपा से मैं इतना सुंदर बन गया हूँ। और उन्होंने दस स्कंद का एक प्रसिद्ध श्लोक का उच्चारण किया। इस श्लोक का उच्चारण सुदामा ब्राह्मण ने किया था जब वो लौटे भगवान को मिलकर और उन्होंने देखा कि मेरी कुछ टूटी हुई झोपड़ी महल बन गई है। वो पहले रहते थे टूटे हुए मकान में और अब देखा कि महल बन गया है। वो समझ गए ये संभव हुआ है उनके मित्र के कारण। तो उन्होंने बड़ी सुंदर स्तुति का उच्चारण किया था। तो वासुदेव प्रभु ने जब देखा उसका बदसूरत शरीर खूबसूरत बन गया है तो उसने भी वही श्लोक का उच्चारण किया। तो उसने पूछा महाप्रभु से, पहले कोई मेरे निकट भी नहीं आता था और आपकी कृपा से मैं इतना खूबसूरत बन गया हूँ, कहीं मैं घमंडी नहीं बन जाऊँ। तो महाप्रभु ने कहा, क्या करो? हरि नाम का उच्चारण करो और हरि नाम की महिमा का प्रचार करो। इस प्रकार तुम्हारे में हमेशा विनम्रता का भाव रहेगा। तो प्रभुपाद तात्पर्य में लिखते हैं, जिस प्रकार वहाँ से विप्र का उद्धार हुआ उसी प्रकार हम सब का उद्धार हो रहा है जो कृष्ण भक्ति में जुड़े हैं। हम सब का कर्तव्य बनता है हम महामंत्र का उच्चारण करें और महामंत्र की महिमा का प्रचार करें। तो वैष्णव भक्त है परा दुखा दुखी, वो प्रचार करता है। क्यों? क्योंकि वो जानता है कि कृष्ण भक्ति बिना जीवन असफल है। प्रभुपाद ने कहा कि अगर कोई व्यक्ति गीता के एक श्लोक को भी अपना ले अपने जिंदगी में, उसका जीवन सफल हो जाएगा। एक श्लोक। तो कई बार हम समझ नहीं पाते इन ग्रंथों का प्रभाव। इन ग्रंथों में इतना अधिक आध्यात्मिक लाभ है कि कोई एक श्लोक भी पढ़ेगा उसका आध्यात्मिक जीवन आरंभ हो जाता है। तो इस कारण हमारे भक्त सारे विश्व में जुड़ते हैं ग्रंथों के वितरण की सेवा में, केवल क्योंकि ये भगवान की इच्छा है। भगवान ऋषभदेव 5वें स्कंद में कहते हैं, एक बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति जब किसी अंधे व्यक्ति को देखता है गलत रास्ते पर चलते हुए, वो क्या करता है? क्या करता है? उसके हाथ पकड़कर सीधे रास्ते में जोड़ देता है। हाँ, ये है हमारा कर्तव्य, हाथ पकड़कर सीधे रास्ते में जोड़ो। पर पापा जी कहते थे, तुम किसी से चर्चा करोगे थोड़ी देर के लिए वो याद आएगा फिर भूल जाएगा, पर अगर ग्रंथ लोगे तो पढ़ोगे, फिर से पढ़ोगे, सुनोगे तो ये ज्ञान हृदय में रहेगा। तो इसके लिए साधु संघ की आवश्यकता है और इसलिए हम प्रचार करते हैं ग्रंथों के माध्यम से। पापा ने कहा, इफ यू वांट टू प्लीज मी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट माई, अगर तुम मुझे संतुष्ट करना चाहते हो तो क्या करो, इन ग्रंथों का वितरण। तो आप सब जुड़े हो मैराथन में, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और इसका मूल उद्देश्य ये है लोगों को दिव्य ज्ञान देना, और इस ज्ञान के द्वारा लोगों में जागृति आती है। कई बार लोग सोचते हैं आज तो कलयुग का बहुत गहराई से चल रहा है, कोई नहीं सुनेगा। लोग सुनेंगे। अगर कोई नहीं सुनता तो ये मंदिर बिल्कुल खाली रहता। आप सब इधर आए हो, कैसे आए हो? किसी ने आपको निमंत्रण दिया, किसी ने आपको ग्रंथ दिया। तो इन ग्रंथों का प्रभाव 10,000 सालों तक चलेगा, और 10,000 साल के बाद फिर संकीर्तन से छुट्टी हो जाएगी, क्योंकि इतना अधर्म रहेगा समाज में कि आप धर्म का प्रचार नहीं कर सकोगे। पर 10,000 सालों के लिए ये प्रचार की सेवा रहेगी। तो आप जुड़ने को तैयार हो? तो कृपा करके सब जुड़िए उत्साह के साथ। ये है समाज की सबसे ऊंची सेवा, दिव्य ज्ञान का वितरण। कभी कभी लोग कहते हैं हमारा तो इसमें अभ्यास नहीं है। भगवान कहते हैं गीता में, जो प्रयास करते मुझे समझने के लिए, उनमें कुछ कमी भी हो तो मैं क्या करता हूँ, दूर कर देता हूँ। तो बेशक आपका कोई अभ्यास नहीं हो, आप प्रयास करोगे श्रद्धा से तो भगवान आपको शक्ति देंगे, बुद्धि देंगे। तो और 2 हफ्ते बचे हैं मैराथन के, आप सब उत्साह से कीजिए। व्हाट इज द स्कोर नाउ? और ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि मैराथन केवल फुल टाइम भक्तों की सेवा है, ये सबकी सेवा है। और भगवान हम सबको मौका दे रहे हैं उनकी सेवा में जुड़ने के लिए। तो जो भक्त जुड़े हैं उन्हें उत्साह के साथ जुड़े रहना चाहिए अंत तक। उत्साह निश्चय धैर्य, उत्साह आवश्यक है। और जो नहीं जुड़े अब आज तक, उनसे निवेदन है जुड़ जाओ। एवरीथिंग टू गेन एंड नथिंग टू लूज। और इस प्रकार लोग ग्रंथ पढ़ेंगे और अपने जीवन को सुधारेंगे, और भगवान आपके आभारी हो जाएंगे। क्यों? आप जा रहे हो घर घर क्या भगवान का संदेश लेकर। इन ग्रंथों में है क्या? भगवान का संदेश है कि नहीं? हम जब कहते हैं रीड प्रॉपर्स बुक्स, व्हाट डू दीज बुक्स कंटेन? भगवान का सिद्धांत, महानाचार्यों की व्याख्या, इसमें तो कोई नुकसान नहीं है। तो खुद भी पढ़ो किताबों को और दूसरों को भी बांटो। इस प्रकार पूरा समाज सुखी रहेगा, और यह है असली सुख, जिसके द्वारा आप असली आनंद भी अनुभव कर सकते हो। परम विजयते श्री कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा। ठीक है। Any comments on Yes. You have any Sankirtan scores, Monopa? Okay, we'll come to that in a few minutes.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to ask a question. I was really inspired by the various examples that you gave from the scriptures about King Rantidev, and you also about King Gaya and Shivi Maharaj, and also on the other side about King Vena. So my question is related to the element of humility that you brought in. That it means one should think oneself fool number one, and one should be open to correction and guidance. So my question is, it is acceptable when it comes from people who we have faith in, or seniors, but when somebody who is externally junior to us in the moment or otherwise, it becomes very difficult to digest correction. So what is the right mode to approach at that point of time? Although one knows that one should become humble, but it becomes very difficult to digest when somebody younger than, or somebody asking Krishna consciousness correction.
So your point is, somebody junior is correcting us.
Yes, Guru.
Junior or senior, just like Chanakya Pandit said, if you get gold even from a stool, take it. Isn't it? Prabhupada used to quote that. So if you get good guidance from anyone, take it. Prabhupada, when he first started preaching, he was bringing them back to Godhead in a paper format, just 2 pages, 4 pages, 4 pages magazine. So Prabhupada was giving this magazine to one librarian. That librarian said, Swamiji, आप इतनी मेहनत करते हो ये छापने के लिए, पर ऐसे ही न्यूज़पेपर तो लोग पढ़ेंगे और फेंक देंगे, आप किताबें क्यों नहीं छापते? फिर प्रभुपाद के मन में ये भाव आया कि भगवान उनके थ्रू संदेश भेज रहे। फिर उन्होंने भागवतम शुरू किया। So we Prabhupada got advice from an ordinary man on the ordinary librarian, and he took it. तो अच्छी राय कहाँ से भी मिले हमें स्वीकार कर लेना चाहिए। Yes. Yes. Why?
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Maharaj ji, this नेता जो है हमारे जो लीडर्स हैं, उनमें बदलाव नहीं आ रहा, तो ये कलयुग का प्रभाव है या हमारा प्रचार नहीं है इतना कि हम उनके पास हम उनको समझा नहीं पा रहे?
हम समझाना तो चाहते हैं, वो समझना नहीं चाहते। सबके घर के आगे 10-10 ताले हैं, कोई अंदर नहीं आए। वो सुधरना नहीं चाहते, क्या करें? पर ग्रास रूट्स में लोग सुनना चाहते हैं, और कोई बहुत ऊंचे पद पर हो तो वो सुनना नहीं चाहता। हम भक्त प्रचार करने को तैयार हैं, पर उन्हें सुविधा भी देनी चाहिए। पर साधारण व्यक्तियों को आप प्रचार कर सकते हो, और कई लोग जुड़ते भी हैं। ओके, यस।
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, we see that in Srimad Bhagavatam or in other literatures, spiritual literatures, and even Srila Prabhupada, he speaks a lot about the ideal system of government. So, in this age of poor governance and religious strife in the name of governance, what should a devotee or the body of devotees do in order to improve our situation? Or rather, we should be non-political and focus on preaching.
We should focus on preaching, because politics, unfortunately, has become too dirty. It's basically a money game. If you have money, you can do it. So I don't think it's worthwhile for devotees to break their head. It's better we just preach to the common people and hope that they will change. Yes. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Maharaj, sometimes I'm late in morning to classes. So that leads to impact in my whole day. So how can I be present in all the session in morning classes?
Are you talking about classes at home or in the temple?
I live in a base.
Okay. At least you realize that you're a little lazy and late. So that's a good sign. Then you can hope to improve. But most people don't even admit that. So you make an effort, I'm sure Krishna will help you.
Maharaj, my second question is, you said that work in the mode of attachment. So how can I
Work in the spirit of detachment, not attachment. I said, lotus leaf. Okay. Okay, only a few more questions. Yeah. After a few.
Hare Krishna Maharaj ji.
Yes.
Yes. How can we should work to detachment? जैसे कि हम लोग ऐसे अभी काम करते हैं फिर detachment के साथ कैसे कर सकते हैं?
भगवान कहते हैं गीता में महाफलेषु कदाचन, ड्यूटी करो पर नतीजा मुझे दो। अब भारत में प्रचार करते थे लोग कहते महाफलेषु, वो खा जाते हैं कि मुझे भगवान को अर्पण करो। तो डिटैचमेंट विराग्या कैसे उत्पन्न हो, ये आपका प्रश्न है।
Yes, जैसे कि हम लोग अभी जैसे मैं पढ़ाई कर रहा हूँ, तो अगर मैं अच्छे रिजल्ट के बारे में नहीं सोचूंगा तो फिर मैं अच्छे से ज़्यादा कैसे पढ़ाई कर पाऊंगा?
हम ये नहीं कहते पढ़ाई कर रहे हो तो अच्छे नंबर मत लो। अक्सर ये अनुभव है कि भक्त जो पढ़ते हैं वो यूजली नंबर 1 आते हैं। हम ये नहीं कहते आप नौकरी कर रहे हो तो अपना दिमाग मत लगाओ, ये नहीं कहते बिजनेस कर रहे हो तो ध्यान मत दो बिजनेस को, पर जो भी सफलता हो उसे भगवान की सेवा में जोड़ो। ओके।
महाराज पिछले संडे हम लोग गए थे बुक बांटने के लिए कनॉट प्लेस में। तो कनॉट प्लेस में न्यू दिल्ली म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन वाले बोलते हैं कि यहाँ पे बुक बेचना अलाउड नहीं है, भाग यहाँ से हटा देते हैं वहाँ से।
क्या करें, हिंदुस्तान में भी लोग बंधन डालने का प्रयास करते हैं। पर भी जब प्रभुपाद हरे कृष्ण मंदिर बना रहे थे बॉम्बे में, कईयों ने बहुत विरोध किया। हमारा पंचशील में मंदिर है, वहाँ भी पड़ोसी विरोध करते हैं। कीर्तन इज अ डिस्टर्बेंस, पर प्रयास करना हमारा फर्ज है। So go on trying. Any other?
हरे कृष्णा महाराज, प्लीज एक्सेप्ट माय हम्बल ऑफिसेस। महाराज लास्ट संडे मैं फर्स्ट टाइम संकीर्तन में गया बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में, और काफ़ी अच्छा रिस्पांस आया लोगों की तरफ से। बट जैसे मैंने सुना था कि काफ़ी लोग क्रिटिसाइज भी करेंगे, तो बहुतों ने क्रिटिसाइज भी किया। तो एक व्यक्ति था, उससे मेरी थोड़ी लड़ाई हो गई। मैं महाराज मेरे अंदर पता नहीं क्या है, मैं जब से डिवोटी सर्कल में आया हूँ थोड़ा दब के रह रहा हूँ, थोड़ा सहम के रह रहा हूँ।
नहीं, पर क्या क्या हुआ?
मैं गुस्सा कम करूँ, और मेरे को मैं महाराज वहाँ पे अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली जब मैं थोड़ा तो मैंने जम के उसको चुप करा दिया। और मैंने सुना भी था लेक्चर में कि प्रभुपाद कहते थे लिव इन अ हाउस एंड डैन।
नहीं, जब आप प्रचार में जाते हो हमें बड़ा विनम्र रहना चाहिए। चाहे वो दूसरा व्यक्ति उल्टी सुल्टी बात कर रहा है, और उसे नैले पे दला करने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है।
मैं यही पूछना चाह रहा था कि जब ऐसे व्यक्ति मिले जो हमें क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हो या फिर जो थोड़ा गलत बोल रहे हो, तो उनके साथ हमें कैसे डील करना चाहिए? कि अगर हम लायन बन जाए तो हमें बाकी बोलते हैं आशी
नहीं,
आप मत करो उनमें।
अगर लायन बनना भी है तो मिठास के साथ बोलो, ये कड़वी भाषा में नहीं। ये सब आपकी भाषा पर डिपेंडेंट है। आप वही संदेश मीठे रूप में दे सकते हो, वही संदेश झगड़ने के मूड में दे सकते हो।
महाराज उनका
देखो जब आप प्रचार में जाओगे, जैसे मैं कई बार कह चुका हूँ, कई आपका साथ देंगे, कई विरोध करेंगे, कई आपसे बात करेंगे, कई बात भी नहीं करेंगे। और इस विषय में सबसे प्रसिद्ध उदाहरण है नित्यानंद और हरिदास का। जब महाप्रभु ने उन्हें बोला जाओ घर घर जाकर प्रचार करो और शाम को आकर मुझे रिपोर्ट दो, तो कई घरों में गए लोगों ने स्वीकार किया, उनका स्वागत किया और पूछा क्या है आपका आदेश, और उन्होंने आदेश दिया तो उन्होंने कहा हाँ हम जरूर करेंगे। पर कईयों ने कहा नहीं, हम तुम्हें अंदर भी नहीं आने देंगे। जब हमने प्रयास किया था आने के लिए शिवा संगम में, आपने रोक दिया। तो कईयों ने उनको जासूस भी बुलाया, जासूस आ गए हैं सन्यासी के कपड़ों में देखने के लिए हमारे घर में क्या है, फिर बाद में आएंगे चुराने के लिए। तो अगर लोग भगवान नित्यानंद हरिदास हमें हमारी तो बात ही छोड़।
थैंक यू महाराज।
Okay, one more question, then we'll stop.
महाराज मेरा एक क्वेश्चन और है। जैसा आपने फॉल्स ईगो का बताया, तो मेरे अंदर भी बहुत फॉल्स ईगो है, तो मैं उसको कैसे छोड़ सकता हूँ महाराज? क्या मेरे को प्रैक्टिस करनी चाहिए?
अगर आपको कोई गहरे पॉइजनस बीमारी हो तो आप प्रयास करते हो उसे सुधारने के लिए, है कि नहीं? तो जो हमारी कमजोरियां हैं हमें उनको कंट्रोल में लाना चाहिए, और ये सब संभव है महामंत्र के उच्चारण से। चैंटिंग, रीडिंग guarantees success. Okay, yes. Yes. I'm sorry, फिर से बोलिए।
हरे कृष्ण महाराज जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। मैं सरोज मुकुंद दास। मैं प्रभु जी को महाराज जी पूछ रहा हूँ कि जब हम प्रसाद पा लेते हैं पूर्ण तरह से, तो फिर हमें और प्रसाद खाने की इच्छा नहीं होती है। तो जैसे हम जब नींद से उठते हैं, सुबह चैंटिंग करते हैं, तो उस समय हमें नींद पूरी ले चुकते हैं, फिर भी नींद आती रहती है, तो उसका क्या कारण है?
क्योंकि हमारी रुचि में भक्ति बहुत कमज़ोर है और आलसी कामों में ज़्यादा है। तो हमें ट्राई करना चाहिए, प्रयास करना चाहिए कि हम भक्ति में भी रुचि बढ़ाएं, और 6-7 घंटे विश्राम करो, उससे ज़्यादा की आवश्यकता नहीं है। 6-7 घंटे विश्राम करोगे तो उम्मीद है कि नींद कम आएगी। ओके, सो यस।
महाराज जी, एक किसी ने लिख के भेजा प्रश्न महाराज।
हाँ,
ये पूछ रहे हैं कि कोई हमें कभी इंसल्ट करता है तो हमारा दिल बहुत दुख जाता है, तो दिल से फिर उसके प्रति हमारे शाप निकलता है, शाप दे देते हैं। तो हम क्या शाप से हमें वापस तो नहीं आ जाता? शाप निकल जाता है हमारे ऊपर, तो वापस नहीं आ जाएगा?
इस कलयुग में आप श्राप दोगे भी उसमें कुछ दम नहीं है। तो अगर आप सोचते हो कि आपके श्राप में शक्ति है तो आप जादूगर बन जाओगे। आपके श्राप में कोई शक्ति नहीं है, तो डरो मत और डराओ मत। Okay, we stop now. Okay. Yes.
हरे कृष्ण महाराज। हरे कृष्ण महाराज। हरे कृष्ण महाराज, दंडवत प्रणाम। महाराज, माय क्वेश्चन इज दैट कि इसमें जैसे अंश है और आपका कला है, तो पहले गिव द एग्जांपल्स। मेरा तो डाउट है, आई हैव सम डाउट, बट द एग्जांपल फॉर अंश, व्हाट इज एग्जांपल फॉर कला?
This is explaining the purport, an expansion of the Lord. They are partial expansion and full incarnation. And in the proper purpose says, it's very clear. A direct incarnation of the supreme purpose of the Godhead is called Amsa or Samsa, whereas the incarnation from Amsa is called Kala. So you have full incarnation and a partial incarnation. Partial incarnation is Kala. ये लिखा तो है यहाँ. A direct incarnation of the Supreme Eternal Godhead called Amsa or Samsa. जैसे गया किंग गया, ये partial expansion थे. Incarnation from जो कला अवतार थे गया, और वो फुल इंcarnation भी होते हैं, जैसे सिंह भगवान या कुछ कोई भी. Okay, we'll go for
Hare Krishna Maharaji. How to convince people that our scriptures are not fictitious?
well, you convince them that these are words of God. It's not imaginary. Everything that's if you read the Bhagavatam, it made predictions 5,000 years ago that have come true today. Those who don't want to believe it may not believe it at all, but we should go on trying to preach. So we'll stop now. आज मैराथन में कौन कौन जाएगा? सब नहीं जाएंगे? मैंने सोचा था सब हाथ उठाएंगे. और मैराथन कब तक चल रहा है? ओह, गुड न्यूज़. क्या है गुड न्यूज़? जनवरी 15 तक आप मैराथन कर सकते हो. क्योंकि कई बार लोग कहते हैं जब तक मैराथन चलेगा तो हमारा उत्साह भी ऊंचा रहेगा. तो 15 जनवरी तक आप सब उत्साहित होकर अधिक से अधिक मात्रा में ग्रंथों को बांट सकते हो. सब फायदा उठाएंगे इसका, और बोलोगे तो जनवरी 15 को फिर एक्सटेंड कर देंगे. माया का मैराथन कितने महीने रहता है? तो आप लोग माया से कम परिश्रम करना चाहते हो. अगर माया का मैराथन 12 महीने है तो आपका मैराथन 13 महीने चलना चाहिए. नया कैलेंडर बनाना पड़ेगा 13 महीने का. ओके ओके.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for your nice class. And ये मैं कुछ कोर्स पढ़ रहा हूँ, कुछ विषय जो हुआ अभी तक दिसंबर में कई भक्तों के द्वारा, तो भक्तों ने बड़ा मेहनत किया है. और इसमें पहला नाम है गोपी भाव प्रभु, उनके साथ जो पूरे भक्त हैं बीबीटी डिवोटीज 8,900.
This is by and large one and one.
Yeah, this is one.
Single.
And Mahamantra को 7,500.
उनका 7,500 स्पॉन्सरशिप है.
Yes.
For one.
7,150. कल परचेज किया हमने अपनी कंपनी के लिए. और मधुसूदन प्रभु 6,200. सुंदर माधव प्रभु 6,200. ये स्पॉन्सरशिप है. कमल माधव प्रभु 4,100. Youth Forum IOF team 2,700. Radhika Vipa Madhani 2,600.
She is here.
Also 320 Bhagavatam sets.
I will. Radhika Kripa is here. You can tell them, Mama. You can tell them later how to do the sets.
And Sahas ने moved 2,500. और बाकी और जो भक्त हैं 10,000 liters. Till now we have Srimad Bhagavatam sets 1,950. The total liters distributed till now is 57,000, and Bhagavatam sets 1,950.
Any other message?
अभी क्या है 20 तारीख हो गया है, समय बहुत कम है और हमने बहुत स्लो और लेट शुरू किया. जल्दी हम लोग 10 नवंबर को शुरू कर देते हैं. इस बार हमने बहुत लेट किया, अभी कार्तिक भी लेट खत्म हुआ और कोरोना की वजह से भी हम लोग लेट हो गए. तो आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है, और अभी हमारे पास समय बहुत कम है. इस महीने में तो केवल 10 दिन ही है, दिसंबर मुक्त मैराथन जिसको कहते हैं. तो आप सबसे प्रयास, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप सब प्लीज़ थोड़ा एफर्ट और डालिएगा इसमें. हरे
Hare Krishna.